This conference will now be recorded.
Fine, let's start then. So yesterday's class we're understanding how to install Pega, and in that process we understood in your personal edition there will be one different procedure, and in your office edition, that is enterprise edition, there will be different way. So after you joining one company, so what happens is day one you'll be getting laptop from your office, right? So you are supposed to ask for this development URL. You should not talk anything about Pega installation. You have to ask about this development URL. After you getting this URL, you will be getting this login page. Okay, there is no manual installation process there. You'll be getting this login page. And this login page here we can see some default style, that is with Pega logo, maybe blue color background and other design. But in your real project, this UI page can still be customized. They might be customized by that time with background logo changed and color and other part. And this username and password might be displayed side by side, whatever it is. Any changes onto the screen happens, but they will not remove this login button. They will not remove this login button. Its styles can be changed. Okay, fine. And after that, you are supposed to log in, right? You have to ask your manager to create operator ID and password for you. And as I told you, whoever is logging into Pega, they might be a developer or a business analyst or a tester or a real user or admin or production support members, whatever it is. Whoever is logging into Pega, they are considered as operators. They should be given with one operator ID for that. And based on this operator ID only, system should decide what should be the next screen for him. Maybe if I log in, I have to get development studio. Maybe if you are a tester, if you are logging in, you have to get user portal. Maybe the next person should get manager portal, next person like admin studio. So Pega is deciding here every operator ID with some respect to screens. That is nothing but with the roles. So can anyone tell me what will be the roles applicable now? Yesterday I told you, right? Total 4 roles will be there. What are those?
Author,
Even author role. So author role,
admin,
yeah, yeah. For author role, what will be the output screen? What will be the output screen?
Development screen.
Development studio. So in past
Dev
versions of
Studio,
Pega, we used to call it as, in past versions of Pega, we used to call it like
Designer
designer
Studio.
studio, designer studio. Okay, and even there will be something called app studio, so which generally to be used by business analysts, and this will be used by developers. Both are authors only, no doubt. Both are doing some kind of development related stuff only. Business analyst, they are trying to develop your architecture, application structures, and you as a developer, you are developing its respect to screens from end to end. Fine. This is one type of rules. Inka, what is the next one?
Admin Studio.
Author is okay. What is
Admin
it?
Studio,
Admin
admin,
studio. Yes. Admin studio. If you are an administrator, I'll create operator ID for you with this as the role. What is the output screen you get? Admin studio, right? Admin studio. What an administrator does in the real time? He will just check for every batch processing part. So if you're an administrator or if I'm a developer, I'll develop everything. After that, you have to take care of its deployment process. You have to take care of number of requesters and other things. You have to take care of listeners. You have to take care of batch processings, maybe Kafka related. So every such backend related things or admin related things you'll take care. And the next role will be user role. User role, they'll be getting user portal. Okay, if I'm a tester, I'll be getting with this role only. Maybe if I'm a bank employee, still my operator ID will be with this role. Whoever wanted to access user portal, they should be given with this role. And even there will be something called manager role, And for manager role, they'll be getting manager portal as the output screen. So these things we understood. And every operator must be maintained like a record into one database table. So tell me, what is the database table name?
PR underscore.
PR underscore operators.
Operators, PR underscore operators. This is one database table holding all the operator information, including developers, testers, admins, whatever it is. And we understood some important column names also. So there should be one ID column, there should be name related, and password also must be there, but it will be hidden. And something about like role and even application related, application name. So today 10 developers joined my company. If I'm manager, I have to create operator IDs for them, right? So first two are like author for credit card application. Next two are also author, but maybe for different loans application. Maybe next two persons something for claims application. So I have to create 10 operator IDs. Everyone will be like an author, 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 and application names might be changed. Okay, application names might be changed. And login page will be common for every one of us. If we just give this URL, this page will be common. If this particular person is logging in with this ID and password, so system has to execute one SQL query with this table. And in this process, you should understand what is that SQL query and what is its execution time, PX execution time, and what is its response time. Okay, and what table it is hitting with. So everything, as a developer, you have to know what is happening in the background. You might not understand writing anything physically, but you should know what is happening everywhere. If you are not knowing what is happening in the background, so you cannot fix certain production issues. Suppose if I'm a bank manager, okay, so I'll be sending you an email saying like, if one of our bank employee is logging in, it is taking long time to load it. So this is what the problem we are facing, and I'm just asking you to look into it. What you will do? So you will try to just check what is happening in the background. You have to use tracer in this case. You have to check for SQL query whether it is hitting correctly or not. So you have to check for SQL execution time. Everything you have to know. So as a developer, without you knowing background, you cannot fix the defects. So this is one such table. And as I told you, database is nothing but collection of tables, hundreds of tables. You'll be seeing 500 plus tables at this moment. Okay, and few tables starts with PR as the prefix, and even some other table starts with different prefixes. So what are the other prefixes I told you yesterday? Tell me. So some
PRPC,
table starts with
PR4.
PR, some table starts with PC, and few tables starts with PR4. Okay, what table starts with these things you have to know. Okay, now you are understanding its table starting with PR. Okay, this is what. Fine. So everyone should be given with one operator ID. And now this is my project start date. So as a business analyst, I have to first log in. Even for me, it is asking for ID password. And as I told you, Pega will give you one master login, master ID and password. So if I log in with that, it has to take me to the next screen. If it is taking me to the next screen, no doubt there must be one record in this table by this time, right? Ante kada? So I have to log in with some administrator password now. It has to take me to the next development studio. Yesterday I showed you. So if it is happening, it is hitting the table and identifying that as valid record. So in Pega, if there is already existing, what you have to call that? In Pega, if you are seeing something already available, what is that? We have to call it as. Tell
OOTB.
me. OOTB. Full form is like out
Out
of
of the
the box.
box.
Yes, it is like out of the box. So now I can say administrator @pega.com, password as install. Okay, I can say this is one OOTB operator ID. Now if I click on login, it has to hit operators table and decide what is the role. So there it must be author role. Author for what application? So again there will be one OOTB application. I did not create any operator ID so far. I did not create any application name, but still I can get this logged in, right? Meaning there must be OOTB operator ID and OOTB application name. So OOTB application name is Pega platform. This is what you have to understand. Whatever you see in Pega, everything is a rule, and if that rule is already available, it has to be considered as OOTB rule. This you have to know. This you have to understand. Fine. Whatever it is, somehow we logged in. With our master login, we logged in. This is your actual Pega tool. You can see it, right? This is your actual Pega tool. Pega is not like a desktop application. It is like web application, cloud application, where you can access only from browsers. So in our personal edition, we are running our own server and the URL being launched in browser. And in your enterprise editions, what happens is the same server will be running at your client location, maybe at USA. And that server and the cloud will be, that URL, everything will be on cloud. You can access it from anywhere. It's not like physical installation in every one of your machines. Okay, fine. Whatever it is from here, everything will be same. Whatever you see in your personal edition and in enterprise edition, everything will be same, 100% same. Installation process alone will be different. So even in your real time, if you log in, you'll get the same screen. And here the top one, whatever you are seeing, whatever you are seeing at the top, this is to be called as header. This is your actual Pega tool and top header, whatever you are seeing. So all this is like a header. So where any kind of configuration is what we'll do here. Let me tell you the segments here. And this part, whatever you are seeing, this part is called Explorer. Top one is an header and the left part is called Explorer. And at the bottom you can see like issues, tracer, clipboard, live view, live data, and these things, right? So this is kind of footer where any kind of debugging is what will take care. Any kind of debugging. So you as a developer now has to work on a defect. What you got from the real bank employee. Saying like if they are logging in, so system is taking long time for loading. So you are supposed to check for performance related tool or debugging related option here. And then there you have to check how much time it is taking. And if you wanted to trace something like step by step, you have to use this. Maybe you have to write your test scenarios, or if you have to write some user stories, whatever. So there will be such options available in the footer part. You should understand how to use those. Fine. And here you can see something like an one banner, welcome image kind of. Okay, this is completely for your promotional purpose. This is completely for your promotional purpose. And here you can see it like a moon, right? You can see it as a moon and maybe with stars and maybe some mountains and clouds. So this particular image says that Pega is trying to reach to infinity level towards its development, towards its automation. That is what the image is. And now currently we are in this version 8.7. So you should understand what are all the past versions. So Pega started with 5th version only. Okay, 5.x, 5.1, 5.2 likewise. After that they started with 6.1, 6.2, something like this. Then 7.1, 7.2, 7.3, 7.4 likewise. Then after 7.4 they introduced like 8.0, then 8.1. So till 8.7, then 8.8, after that 23, after that 24. So they're trying to release version numbers in this case. Okay, in this case. And if you are logging in from any part of this 8th version, it might be 8.2 or 3 or 4, whatever it is, every version from here should be called as Infinity. I'm still at 8.7. It is showing like Pega Infinity, right? So every version after 8.x, it is to be considered as Infinity version. Okay, Infinity version. So what do you mean by this Infinity? So till 7.4, no doubt Pega has got certain features. After 7.4, they added n number of extra features and directly they released like an eighth number, version number 8. So there is like big jump in the version number, right? What does this mean? Suppose if version number is abruptly increased, we as a real user think like, so there must be huge number of changes. So if we just take Windows versions, Windows 7, then Windows 8, then Windows 9, maybe Windows 10, Windows 11. So now we are using like Windows 11 version. Now they are in a plan to release the next version. In this next version, they wanted to add n number of AI features, artificial intelligence features. So if Microsoft management releasing the next version with version number as 13, what we as a real users think? We think like there might be huge changes in this, right? No doubt in it. Maybe if the same features they're releasing with version number as 11.2, what you will think? Will think like there might not be major changes, even though they might be added with hundreds of extra features. Just based on this version number, we as a real user will decide what might be the changes. So here even Pega what has done is from 7.4 they directly released 8.0. So there are like multiple extra features added up here. So from 8.0 they are calling it like Infinity version. Before versions are like non-infinity. All the past versions we should consider as like non-infinity versions. Today, if you join one company or if you're planning to attend any interview, okay, maybe if I'm your interviewer there, so my project might be running on 8.4 today. Just an example, my project might be running on 8.4. Maybe my project started 5 years or 10 years back, maybe 5 years back. By the time, whatever the latest, we'll purchase it and we'll try to work on that, right? Maybe my project is running on 8.4 version. So if you came for the interview, what I'll do, I'll just check for your complete skill and I'll just check whether you will be meeting my requirement or position or not. So in this whole context, I will not just look for whether you're having experience in 8.4 only or not. Okay, I don't restrict you anything about this 8.4. What I'll ask you is, are you having experience working with Infinity versions? That is what we'll ask you. Even if you are like still working on past versions, if you are skillful, then not a problem. Learning new feature or new version is not that difficult task. So interviewers, they'll just check with you whether you have experience working with this Infinity version or not. It might be whatever the version. So based on that, we'll try to groom you from our end. That is what the thing is. Okay, maybe if you are still at 6.3 version, but you are skillful, we'll hire you, not a problem. We'll hire you, not a problem. So I'll tell you with one small example. Suppose, suppose maybe in your family, there is one birthday party running now. Okay, so you wanted to get one video generated for that. You wanted to get one video or maybe one flyer or one poster prepared. What you will do? You'll go to nearest photo studio, right? You'll go to nearest photo studio. And if I'm the person there, so I have to use one software. Maybe I'll use Photoshop software, what every one of you might be knowing. I'll be using Photoshop software, and Photoshop software might be the software whatever I'm using might be on version number 6. Latest one might be 13th version, just an example. So I'm using very old version of this. And here I'm using this version from past many years where I'll be having so my previous project information, maybe birthday projects or maybe wedding, whatever. I'll be having everything. You as a customer coming here, I'm trying to design one flyer or poster for you. So you're asking me to go for some extra features. What I'll do is, so I wanted to upgrade my Photoshop version to 13th one. So no doubt there will be huge changes added in between. So now if I just open this latest version, so will it be looking like in Greek and Latin for me? No, right? No. So even though it might be added with latest features, since I got lot of experience with older versions, I can sit here and try to understand every new feature in hardly 1 week, right? I can get habituated to all the features in hardly 1 week or 10 days. So learning background concept is very important. Overall theme, overall skeleton will never change. So they might be added with different latest features what you can easily understand. So today you are using Windows 11 version, okay, and after 10 years, just compare, this is 2024, right? Okay, maybe 2034, maybe current server is like 2034. So Windows 20 might be the latest version by that time. So till here, if you are using Windows 11 only, if you wanted to jump to this one, so it's not like that you cannot do anything. So you can easily getting habituated there, right? So finally, what I mean to say here is, so whatever the Pega versions we are using, so this is like Infinity. Okay, so Pega for their promotional purpose, they are giving this banner, which you will see it from 8.0 version only, where every requirement is almost crossed its automation level compared to the real market. So that is the reason they gave this banner. Okay, you can hide it whatever you want. Understood, right? So this is your Pega welcome screen where you'll see first header where any kind of configurations will be done, and the left one is like Explorer, and this is like just welcome image, and below which is like footer, and just below this you'll see something called Guardrail warnings. Guardrail warnings nothing but the best practices if we haven't followed. So it will show with some numbers here. Okay, suppose if I'm your manager, development team manager, if you are not general developer, what you will take care, I'll be giving you some tasks, right? So your duty is to complete the task one, then task two, task three, that's it. So you are supposed to take care of no errors from your end. After you logging in with your operator ID, so you should take care of this one that is introduced by you. So are there any warnings introduced by you? So if it is like severe, it will show with those numbers. So just a moderate, just informational. So you are supposed to take care of everything to be zero from your end. And in my case, if I'm project manager, I have to take care of zeros from my end as well as my team also. So if any one of you is not following best practice, there will be somewhere complaint score distracted, and it will show like a one warning under your name as well as under my team also I'll get it. So something kind of guardrail warnings. After our development is started, slowly you'll understand. So numbers somewhere getting increased, and then you'll understand how to get it fixed also. Okay, you'll be getting reason for everything. So and so warning number one. Okay, this is the statement and generated by operator ID. I'll call that operator, I'll call that developer, and I'll ask you what is the requirement given and what you have done. So I'll ask him to follow the other way and get it fixed. This is what to be done. Got it right? So you're understanding something about this welcome screen or home screen. Okay, so everyone following right? Any questions, anyone so far? Everyone following right? Just confirm me. Any
Yes.
questions? Okay, fine. So here, as I told you, header part is going to be done for configurations. What do you mean by configurations? What do you mean by configurations? Suppose if you go for a bank now, okay, if you are going for a bank, so I'll be using credit card portal. This is one credit card portal. Okay, no? So if I log in with my operator ID and password, I'll get this credit card portal, that is user portal. Okay, user portal, and I'll be registering a customer like you, maybe customer one, 4 or 5 customers coming to me, standing in a queue. I'll deal with first customer, maybe second customer, third customer, like this. So once I'm dealing with first customer, I'll complete all the respective screens, right? After that is done, one email has to be triggered for that person. Email has to be triggered. This is your credit card application developed on Pega, and this has to deal with this has to send one email. And consider Amazon application. Consider Amazon application. Even in Amazon, if you are placing an order, one email will be triggered, right? So in this to address will be your own, and from address will be like orders@amazon.com. Here to address will be your own email ID. From address can be like uh, confirmation or registration@icicibank.com, whatever. So one email triggering is happening from Amazon application, maybe credit card application, loans application, or maybe like SB applications, whatever. So for any application, whatever the backend technologies might be, this is running on Pega, this might be running on Java, other one might be on .NET, whatever. If any application wanted to go for email triggering, so there will not be any coding to be done. So what they will do is they will try to purchase one domain, maybe from Microsoft, maybe from Google, or maybe from Yahoo, maybe from IBM. They'll try to purchase one domain. After purchasing one domain, this email has to be configured for that application. Okay, so now such configurations will be done at this moment. So if I wanted to configure our loans application with an email account, we'll do it here. If I wanted to configure my application with external database, so I'll do such configurations here. If I wanted to configure this with my third party application directly, so every such configurations has to be done from this header part. Okay, from this header part. For any kind of debugging, you'll use these options. You'll use these options. This is what you have to do. Okay, fine. And as soon as I logged in, I'm getting Dev Studio here, right? And if you logged in non-Infinity versions of Pega, this is like Infinity version, right? From 8.0, we generally call it like Infinity. And if you logged in non-Infinity versions, maybe 7.3 or 7.4, instead of Development Studio, you'll see with the name Designer Studio. You'll see with the name Designer Studio. What do you mean by Development Studio? What do you mean by Designer Studio? You have to know. So generally, for a project to be completed, so there must be first a design level. You have to design all your screens, right? Then maybe deployment to testing servers, maybe reporting part, maybe visualization part, or maybe versioning part. So n number of things will be there, and all this will be considered like an all this has to be done in Dev Studio. Complete end to end has to be done here. In the faster versions of Pega, you can see Designer Studio, meaning for any kind of background related things, maybe checking for requesters, checking for debugging part, not debugging, checking for deployment part. So we used to use something different called SMA, System Management Application. Okay, this is like separately configured, separately. Now, in the latest versions, this one and this one consolidatedly they are giving like Dev Studio. So in Dev Studio, they have introduced something called Admin Studio also, separate inbuilt. So with this, everything related to development can be done, starting from designing to last deployment. Everything is inbuilt in Infinity versions, that is latest versions. So now here you can see it like an Dev Studio, and in the past versions you will see it like Designer Studio. So that is one thing what you have to know. Fine. And in the latest versions, I can see one application with the name Pega Platform. You can see it here, right? Pega Platform. And in the past versions, you will see name here like Pega Rules. You will see with the name as Pega Rules. So there you will see like Develop Designer Studio, application name as Pega Rules, and Dev Studio and application name as Pega Platform in latest version. So what is Pega Rules? What is Pega Platform? This you have to know. But whatever it is, this is one OOTB application. I did not create it, right? So this is also OOTB application in the latest version. And remember, In Pega, everything is to be called as a rule. Each and everything should be considered as rule. So consider this as like non-infinity versions. Okay, and the starting application here is Pega rules. And this is like infinity version. And starting application we are seeing with the name Pega platform. Okay, Pega platform. What is difference between these two things you have to know. As of now, you are into Pega platform, and if you wanted to create a new application, this is the navigation what you have to follow. So now as a business analyst, I logged in here, right? As a business analyst, I logged in here. And my thinking is to create one framework first. Next another framework, maybe next implementation. I have to create multiple applications. So to create an application, this is the navigation. Okay, if I simply click on this now, it will ask me what is the application name, and then it will ask me what is the application type. Okay, so it will just ask application name, it will ask us application type, and click on submit. Applications will be created. Very simple. Okay, one application will be created very fast. It is just like two step away. And creating an application is like not a small thing. Background, it has to be created with multiple things. Background, it has to be created with multiple things. Suppose if you go for a bank, so there will be one credit card application, and there will be one loans application. So there will be something kind of accounts application. So now I'm creating this application, and here what are all the customers I'm registering, it has to be maintained with one database table, right? And for the loans application, what are all the customers or IDs I'm creating, it has to be maintained in its table, right? Okay, meaning every application once created, it has to be created with n number of things in the background. One such is database table. One such is database table. Now at this moment, if you open database, maybe for 3 applications, 3 new tables will be created. 3 new tables will be created, and this table starts with what prefix that you have to know. Fine, that's fine. So finally, what I mean to say here is, if you wanted to create a new application, this is the navigation. It will just ask you what is the name, application name, and what is the type. So in background, hundreds of things are getting created. Hundreds of things are getting created. Background, one application rule will be created, and maybe its mapping to database table will be created. One database table will be created. Operator IDs must be created. Its access levels must be created. Its JDBC connections. Likewise, hundreds of things will be running in the background. So all these hundreds of things are successfully getting created, this whole application with its connected rules. So all these are like successfully getting created by just getting help from Pega platform, right? So Pega platform is helping to create one child application below. Okay, so Pega platform is helping one child application below. So if an application is helping something other application, that must be considered like a framework, right? Yesterday I told you, if this is your organization, there can be one main framework and another framework. Maybe implementation 1, implementation 2. Okay, so implementation 2 will get help from above parent, right? So no doubt this is framework. So what is the definition of framework? Framework is something which is maintaining some rules and it is trying to help its childs. Now coming back to our discussion now, Pega platform is something like parent application name what I'm saying. So below which, if I'm following this navigation, one application will be created. And this application is not just a single rule. Background application has to be created, its mapping rule, its table, its operator IDs, n number of things are getting created, right? So all these are automatically and successfully getting created by getting help from Pega platform. So Pega platform, what are all the OOTB rules it has got? It is being supplied to its child and it is getting created. So comparing these two things, we can understand Pega platform is acting like a framework, right? It is acting like a framework, but we did not create it. So this is to be considered as OOTB framework. Okay, this is to be considered as OOTB framework. So I can say like in Infinity versions, Pega platform is one OOTB framework. In the non-Infinity versions, Pega rules will be its OOTB framework. As I told you, you'll see with the name Pega rules. From there, every application has to be derived. No doubt, all the below applications are getting help from Pega rules only. In the latest versions, all the every below applications getting help from Pega platform only. This is framework acting like framework, and in this case, this is acting like framework. This every one of you should understand. Fine. So consider the older versions of Pega, the older versions of Pega. So I might be having one framework, maybe with the name banking framework. It might be having something related to credit card related, maybe accounts related. And again under accounts, there can be one more framework with the name savings, and one more thing related to current. And here I can have few implementations, here also implementations. So I am having one structure maintained in 7th version of Pega. Getting my point? So initially I created an application must be derived from here. I created one more application derived from here. Likewise, we maintain one structure. Next, what we wanted to do is we wanted to upgrade to 8th version. I wanted to upgrade to 8th version. If I'm supposed to upgrade, first 8th version has to be installed, right? That your network team will take care. So they will install 8th version or latest version. So there Pega platform will be the application name. So where Pega rules will be no more supported here as per our current understanding. So what I have to do is this whole project I took around 10 years time. So designing this and designing this one and developing everything. We worked on this older version for 10 years. Now I wanted to use some latest features and I wanted to upgrade my whole content. If I'm in a plan to upgrade, what should happen? This Pega rules, all the applications should be automatically pushed up here, right? So if this is getting pushed up, so this earlier got help from Pega rules. Now in the latest version, Pega rules is replaced with Pega platform. So what are all the content derived by that time? If there is no parent here, how this will be working up? How this will be working? If this cannot work, how its childs can work? So importing to the latest version is a problem, right? So Pega, what has they done? They simply updated their parent or topmost application name. So by the time all the below applications created from the old application, here how it will be supported. If it is not getting supported, who will upgrade? Just take earlier example only. As I told you, if I am like an photo studio person using Photoshop, which is like older version, and if I wanted to upgrade to some highest version, here I'm working for all my customer data, where it is like maybe I'm working all my I'm ready with all my customer data, where marriage projects are there, or maybe like birthday projects, whatever. So if I'm trying to upgrade to the latest version, if it is saying like this is not supported here, will you upgrade it? No, right? You will not upgrade it. So if any latest version is released in any tool, no doubt it should be helpful for upgrading as well as for creating new. So now in this case, what I'm saying is in the older version, it will be with the name Pega rules, and I have developed a project, and now Pega rules is no more supported. And if it is not being supported, who will upgrade? That is the question. That is the point. So for this, what you have to understand is supporting happens. Even for upgrading from older version to higher version, supporting happens. Let me tell you. Consider Ravi is one manager in TCS. Okay, and Ravi has got 10 employees reporting under him. Okay, Ravi has got 10 employees. So if there is a drop down showing all the employee names, all the 10 employees names, and a person something with the name, a female person, something like Shamala. Okay, Shamala K. So this is her name, consider. And now she got married. After her marriage, she is in a plan to update her surname. Okay, so if she's updating her surname, so overall name might be disturbed, right? If her name is changed, does this does this candidate will not be under Ravi? So structure should not be disturbed, right? Now her name got changed. So you, even if her name is changed, she will be still under an TCS employee, right? She should be still under my project only, no? She should be still reporting to person like Ravi only, right? So what is happening? Background, there will be something called employee ID and her name, Shamala K, whatever. Okay, this is like our earlier design. Now if her name is changed, nothing will be affected because everywhere linking will happening based on their IDs. So there is no possibility to change ID because every connection happened with IDs only. Exactly here also in Pega, each and everything is a rule, what I've told you. Everything is a rule. You take an operator, it's a rule. You see an application, it's a rule. You see an image, it's a rule. Maybe first name is a rule. Everything is a rule in Pega. And for every rule to be processed, it should happen with its ID only, not with its name. Not with its name. Now I can see Pega platform as one application. And if I wanted to know some more information about that, I have to click on its definition. If I click on this, I'll see its ID also. What is its ID name? What is its ID showing as? Just read it out. What is its ID? Pega?
Pega
Pega
rules.
rules.
Pega rules is its ID, meaning the past versions of Pega, its ID is Pega rules and its name must be also Pega rules. In the latest versions, just they updated their name. That's it. Background rules will not be disturbed. IDs will not be disturbed. Now coming to this discussion. Okay, coming to this discussion. Where is that? Yeah. Coming to this discussion. So if I'm trying to upgrade from older version to here, this Pega rules is nothing but Pega platform only, just name got changed. And under this will be imported, and under this everything will be straight away imported. So they just updated the name to Pega platform. Since it has got latest features added up, so they just updated the name. Still, if you wanted to update the name from your end also, it is 100% possible. So processing will never happen with any names here. Processing every time happens with IDs only. So ID will never change. Even Pega has released 20 more latest versions. Still, its ID will be Pega rules only. Its name can be changed to Pega platform, Pega super platform, Pega super platform, but background will not be affected. So the very first project may be on 5th version. So that project, if it has to be upgraded to 24th version directly, still it should be supported. Okay, still it should be supported. Any older versions of any project has to be supported in the highest versions. That is like every tool to be designed with. Even Pega also should follow the same. So here I can see Pega rules. Okay, so finally we're understanding older version and latest version, nothing much difference, only names. Display name got changed. And then we're understanding everywhere processing happens with rules only. Everywhere processing happens with IDs only. Everywhere with IDs only. And in Pega, everything is a rule, as I told you. Since it is processing each and every rule and getting some output, so this is to be called as Pega rules process commander. What is it to be called as? Pega rules process commander. Suppose day
PRPC.
one, your business analyst, yeah, day one, your business analyst will log in. What they will do? Maybe they will create, maybe this is the structure what they wanted to do. So they will create maybe 4 framework applications, 10 implementation applications. So background 14 rules must be created. Everything, even application is a rule. Okay, one such is credit card application. So if I'm a bank employee, what I'll do is I'll simply run this credit card application and try to register a customer. I'll get screen number 1 collecting his basic details. Screen number 2 maybe his nominee details. Screen number 3 something like write-off. Screen number 4 something related to loan capturing, whatever. So I'll complete all 10 screens. After 10th screen is also done, his registration is complete, right? His registration is complete. So purpose of credit card application is to create one transaction and which is success now. So just to get this one transaction successfully created, just imagine what are all the things running out. So background framework rule might be loading and it is helping, it's below, right? Framework rule is running. So credit card application is running out, within which screen 1 is loaded, screen 2 is loaded, screen 3 is loaded, screen 4, okay, and again in screen number 1 multiple images might be loaded, and something like first name, last name, everything getting loaded, right? Everything is a rule, image is a rule, first name, everything is a rule. So just to get one successful output, so it is trying to run hundreds of rules and getting it right. It is trying to process everything as a rule and getting some output. So background, it is having one powerful engine to run all these rules. Okay, so that is the reason this is to be called as Pega rules process commander. Okay, so this is to be called as Pega rules process commander, in short PRPC. Okay, PRPC. So from now onwards, every one of you should call this tool as PRPC tool. You should never call it as Pega tool. Okay, people with less knowledge, they'll call this as Pega, but this is to be called as PRPC, which is under BPM category. Getting my point? Which is under BPM category. Suppose if you purchase one laptop in Chroma store, okay, so if I ask you where did you purchase, you have to tell it as Chroma. You should not say it as Tata store. Tata is like biggest organization, out of which Chroma is one unit out of that. So similarly, Pega is one top level organization where under BPM there is one tool. Maybe under CRM they might be having something, under cloud or under robotics they might be having different things. Out of which PRPC is one small unit. So you should call this like an Pega PRPC. You should not call it like an Pega tool. Okay, since Pega is like super hit in this PRPC, so everyone is considering like PRPC as Pega. Okay, so Pega has got different wings, out of which PRPC is super hit for them. Okay, they're generating huge business out of this PRPC. So most all the people today, so they're calling this as like in Pega tool. Okay. Now in Naukri or somewhere, if you see jobs like maybe like Pega jobs, if you see with this name, so what does that mean? So the recruiter who has posted that job or post, so they might be having little knowledge. So they might not think that they are looking for PRPC positions. Since it is famous for Pega is famous for PRPC, if you see anywhere like Pega jobs, you can happily apply for that. No doubt you can happily apply. If you see it like Pega BPM jobs, then also you are eligible, no doubt in it, under BPM PRPC. And if you see somewhere like Pega PRPC, no doubt you can happily apply. In PRPC, nothing but this tool, there will be some levels. If you learn some extent, you will be considered as CSA level, maybe CSSA level, maybe LSA level. If you see like Pega CSA jobs, Pega CSSA jobs, Pega LSA jobs, no doubt happily you can just apply for those things. Okay, if you see like Pega business analyst, something little different. So that also on the same PRPC related tool only, no doubt in it. But you need not have this level of knowledge. What a developer requires, you need not have that level of knowledge. If you see like in Pega, RPA, all these are different. So finally, whatever the thing you are seeing now, this is to be called as Pega PRPC. Why? Because here everything is a rule. And if that rule is already existing, it is to be called as OOTB rule. If it is like to be created from your end, that is to be called as user created rule. Okay, user created rule. And in the real time, we'll use this OOTB terminology in multiple scenarios. So that is, if city is your client, okay, and this city business head, they'll be giving you certain requirements. Okay, they'll ask a business analyst to implement these tasks. So business analyst, what they will do, so they'll come to development team and they'll be giving like a different user story, and they'll get it completed in sprint methodology, you know that. So here, if client asking us to design screen number 1, where there must be one image which is continuously to be rotated. Okay, so including first name, last name, these are like static, right? Even if you wanted to include an image, simply you can show it, not at all a problem, not at all a problem. Now, here if client is asking you to include a graphical related image, you as a developer, what you have to do? No doubt you have to implement that functionality, right? No doubt you have to implement that functionality. But in Pega, there is no such automated. There is nothing such automated. So what you will do in this case? You have to say your business analyst like, there is no OOTB for this requirement. Okay, we are supposed to write customized Java coding or scripting, which is not encouraged. And this requirement is not that really required for us. Why? Because these applications are meant for internal usage only. What for this level of styling? So Pega did not implement this. PRPC did not automate this. So you as a developer can straight away say your business analyst like, there is no OOTB for this. Again, business analyst, they'll try to convince the customer saying like development team is saying like no OOTB. If client is okay with that, no worries. If client, client is paying huge amount for all of you, right? So whatever the requirement he is asking you, no doubt you have to implement it. So if you are saying no, he will not listen, right? So client is strictly saying like, I want this to be implemented. What you'll do? You already use the word terminology like no OOTB, but still client wants this. So you are supposed to write additional coding right on top of it just to get your output. But again, writing code is not encouraged. Why? Because maybe there are 10 developers. Developer 1 can write the code maybe with the 2 lines. Next developer maybe with the 10 lines. Next developer maybe with the 25 lines. So though everyone getting same output, but design wise there might be difference, right? So performance will be affected, right? So your complaint score will be disturbed. Your complaint score will be disturbed. You should not actually write any part of coding. So before you write coding, what you have to do is, so as I told you, there will be Pega support person every time available with you. You have to raise one ticket with you, and this person will try to investigate what is the requirement. Okay, he'll just cross check client requirement, what is it. So there he'll suggest us, in the latest version we already got this implemented, use that, this XYZ, he'll try to suggest. Even still, if there is no OOTB code for that, if there is no OOTB for that, actually you are supposed to write coding, but you as a developer is not supposed to do. After you raising a ticket, here Pega support guy, he will try to get this done from his team. That is like Pega systems company will be there, right? You will try to raise a ticket with them and they will try to get it done. Since they are developing that code, no doubt it will be in the best practice, and that code again they will give it back to you. You are supposed to include here. Ultimately you are the ownership, you are supposed to take the ownership. So support person is trying to help you if there is no OOTB. For that you have to understand how to raise tickets for them. Okay, where you have to log in, how to raise tickets, these things you have to know. Fine. So you as a developer should understand how to use OOTB terminologies. That is what I'm saying. So this is one maybe scenario. Okay, maybe let me talk about scenario 2. Scenario 2 here is your client is asking you to design something like screen number 1 for capturing first name, last name and other things, and with a button. Now if I click on this button, what should happen is you'll go to screen number 2, no doubt in it. In between background, one email has to be triggered saying like thank you for registration. Background, one email has to be triggered saying like thank you for registration. So for this, you as a developer, what you will do? On click of this button, you'll go for send email notification. You know that there is some OOTB. You'll call on this button. No doubt one email will be triggered for the respect to email ID. Okay, so this is perfectly working from your end. After this, testing team, they have to test it, right? So if I'm the tester, if I clicked on login button or register button, everything looks success. Email also getting triggered, but after 1 hour. Email is getting triggered now, but after 1 hour. So I feel this as like a performance defect. This is not a functional defect. Functionality, everything is working perfect, but performance is poor. Somewhere it is taking longer time. So what I'll do is as a tester, I'll raise one performance issue, performance defect. Okay, performance defect. So you are supposed to justify it, right? You as a developer, every time you are duty to reduce defect count, you'll try to negotiate it. So this is not a defect, that is not a defect. This defect is introduced not by my code. So please log it like an older defect or regression defect. So they'll try to negotiate it. They'll try to reduce defect count on their name particular, whatever. So since you have developed, I'll log a defect on your name. So before you accepting it, you can simply defend saying like, so I just used OOTB on this. I did not write any coding. On this button click, I used one OOTB rule. So internally Java code will be there, which is like system generated. So how come it will be a defect on my name? So raise a Pega defect or raise a ticket. This is what you'll say. Okay, but you are supposed to accept and fix it. So you are already saying like this is not, this is part of OOTB, but still you are supposed to fix it. So you have to take care of one more debugging thing like tracer. You have to open this tracer or performance analyzer, and on click of this, what extra things are running, you have to note it down. So apart from that email triggering Java code, there might be some extra things also running out. You have to understand what are all extra things and why those are running. Are those really required or not? Okay, how much time each thing is running out. You are supposed to analyze, and according to that you have to fix it. So finally you should understand when and how you have to use OOTB. So that is what I am explaining you. Okay. So today we are just understanding about this tool introduction. Okay, from tomorrow we'll understand how to create projects. So tomorrow if I create a project, no doubt you have to create projects in other two things also. Tomorrow if I create an application, so parallelly you have to start working on other two things. So once in a week or once in 2 weeks, we'll be checking for review of other two projects also. So make sure everything should be done on daily basis. If you are working in any company, at least you have to complete it on weekly basis. That is the reason we give this kind of review for every 2 weeks. Okay. So clear, right, everyone? Today's session. Everyone clear, right? Any questions, anyone? Clear, Andaru?
Yes.
Sure. Thank you.